Alright, again, per request, I'm doing another video. This one is going to entail Chieftains. Some people are wanting to do Chieftains, especially at a lower level, and I'm going to go ahead and bring a few of my own personal weapons because I'm going to do several Chieftains in a row, but I'm also going to show you how you can do your own Chieftains, even with, say, just a simple longbow. And we'll go ahead and get our things made. Now, if you're going to do a Chieftains, I always recommend that you at least be prepared. In Chieftains, if you do not have something that can do damage to a wooden wall, you're kind of wasting your time in the first place. And the first opportunity you're going to get something that's going to be able to do damage consistently is going to be your Cruel Bludgeon. And this reason being is a wooden wall at least takes 25 damage is how much defense it has, so 26 damage can do 1 damage. Therefore, a Cruel Bludgeon can at least do 5 damage to a wooden wall. This is not a significant amount. But this is, at least the bare minimum is at least level 36. At level 36, you're going to be able to make a Cruel Bludgeon, and at that point, you should be prepared enough at least to start effectively doing a Chieftains. And if at least you're level 36, you can always make a pair of boots. I always recommend boots, but armor is not a necessity otherwise. Now, unlike the catacombs, a Chieftains is not as much food friendly, so you might want to bring a little bit of supplies, something that can replenish your liquid, something that can replenish your food, and I just happen to have some berries left over, so I'll use those for my liquid and some food. Other than that, again, like I said, I'm bringing along some other weapons because I don't like doing just one Chieftains, and while I'll show you a Chieftains purely on the longbow, I'm probably going to do a couple more Chieftains after that. Now, if you're going to do like me and you like to do multiple runs at the same time, it's usually good to create yourself a path. Me personally, I like to take this little path up here where I start at this Chieftains, move my way up, hit this Chieftains over here, then I can hit another Chieftains right there. And yeah, it's about an hour-long walk between each Chieftain, but by the time I'm done, I've hit 4 Chieftains, and the loot that I come home with is pretty nice. It's especially good if you're trying to farm for oak planks, some rare ores, including Moranian. But we're going to get started. First, we're heading up to this Chieftain. I can't make it in one go. I just don't have enough energy. But with 77 energy, I can do this. Or perhaps I can. No. Yep. I'll just go ahead and run here. And for a quick 50 boost energy. There we are. Now, Chieftains does have an abundant amount of enraged boars that I've noticed. It will have at least 1 bone crusher and 2 to 3 bears that you'll have to deal with. There are at least 3 different maps, and typically I can already tell you this one map specifically is not one. There's one that there's a bear hidden up in the corner up here. There's only a small space to get to him, so this is just one version of the map. Spiders, easy to deal with. Takes 2 shots with a longbow. As long as you get to sneak up on them, you can do a significant amount of damage. That sucks. Huh. These can contain herbs when you're doing a Chieftain, or they contain rush if you really need rush. I don't. These, one of the rare items that you can get from these are the hearty stews. Those are pretty good if you want to get some extra energy back. And they can also contain coal. Enraged boar, not such a big deal. Enraged boar, again, not such a big deal. like I said before, with most mobs, you can usually let a mob hit you once, and by the time you run away, you can sneak away, and you shouldn't have to deal with another hit from them. Now, the enraged boars, at least minimum, you're going to want to do 4 hits on them. The first one, critical, run, take a hit, sneak, let them turn around, get another sneak shot on them. 2 shots. 3 shots, and go ahead and just follow with a 4 shot. 4 shots to kill an enraged boar. When killing the boars, you can go ahead and check them for the meat. That way you can get a little bit of health back. One shot, 2 shot. And you're going to get hit at least 3 times by these guys. But that's where you want to minimalize it. 3 shot, 4 shot. Meat. Now there is a reason I'm not using my cruel bludgeon. I like to stay long range. It prevents the monsters from actually swarming me. I don't get hit by multiples at any given time because I'm controlling who's getting too close. Let him hit me once, run away, sneak away. Then get into his field of vision, unsneak, sneak. You can change his field of vision. 2 shots. He missed. Sneak up on him again. You gotta have a little bit of patience. 3 shots, and my game glitched. That's interesting. Well, let me show you how to fix a glitch. Alright, let's give that another try. Life hates me. Let him hit me once, sneak away. Let him hit me once. Oh. We got a problem here. There we go. Regular boar is relatively simple. 1 critical, and then 1 follow-up shot with a longbow is enough to kill them. And you can usually kill them before they even do 1 hit on you. So you don't have to worry about getting hit too often from them. 1 shot. Good. He's looking at us, so let's try to change his direction. Unsneak, sneak. Changed his direction. 2 shots. Sneak. 3 shots. Follow up with a 4th shot. The good thing is, whenever you get a sneak shot up on a monster, is that it's always a critical, so double damage. Not to mention, it's always a guaranteed hit. You never miss those sneak on shots. And, oops. The good thing about reinforced boots is you can actually outrun these guys. The problem is with these small levels is you can run out of space to run in. And as you can see, I'm kind of minimalizing how often I'm getting hit, and even though I don't have a whole lot of armor on my character, as long as I'm minimalizing how many hits I'm getting, you don't have to necessarily worry too badly about it. Obviously, I am low on some health. This is why we brought a little bit of food to start with. As I said, unlike the catacombs, you're not going to find as an abundant of food resources here. I do highly recommend that you take and kill everything. Main reason is because you're going to be moving bears and bone crushers a little bit later on to get to the good loot, and the last thing you want to have to deal with is running into a pack of mobs that are obviously going to get you killed. And I tried saying it at the end of my last videos, the last thing you want to do is when you die, just don't waste your gems. You can always spend 35 gems to run back to your corpse, as opposed to, 400 gems to just resurrecting on the spot. Yeah, you have to remake a bag, but, you need to learn to have maybe an extra bag just sitting in a chest somewhere, just in case the situation happens to you again. What do we got down here? Regular boar. 2 shots. 1, 2, enraged. I think it's funny. One of the tips it gives you is wolves are one of the fastest creatures in the game. I find enraged boars faster. You can actually hit a wolf and then run away before a wolf can hit you, but there's no running away before a boar gets to you. An enraged boar, that is. Or a boar, for that matter. Gotta love misses. Not me. I hate missing. Now that we're actually clearing some of this away, we might actually get to one of the buildings shortly. Yeah, I know you gotta be patient. Four shots. It is a little bit more annoying. You can stand around and get hit by a boar, but I found that for every shot that you take on a boar with a bow, with the draw speed, it's going to be about 2 hits to your 1. And so it really does hurt. There's no sense in getting hit by a boar if you don't have to. Yeah, it takes a little bit more time. 1 shot. Oh, that's right. This is the one I damaged earlier. Before my game went weird. The only thing we're really going to have to worry about are bears and bone crushers in this level. We are coming up to our first building. Now, I'm not professional in all these different buildings, but I can tell you that most of them usually have things like carpenter's benches and whatnot, and usually these items right here are very specific to the items that they make inside your own settlement. So you can find things like coal in here, hearty soups, turnip stew. Inside here you can find herbs. You can also find rushes and turnips. And it'd be nice if you found some herbs. Herb seeds, that is. This guy, you're actually going to find a lot of, I've noticed a lot of potions, water. Then, of course, inside these buildings, you're going to find the carpentry benches or the stone masonry tables that are going to contain things like whetstones or just stone blocks, for that matter. And then, of course, planks, oak planks if you're lucky, regular planks, so-so. And then inside the stone buildings, I've noticed you can actually get elm planks. Very rare, but nice when it does. But this is why we bring the cruel bludgeon, is to get into these buildings. While a bow, you can get through the clay walls. Specifically, you want a weapon that's tailored towards busting down walls. And for that matter, you really shouldn't be coming, again, to these places unless you can at least get yourself a hands on a cruel bludgeon. The reason is some of the better stuff's going to be hidden behind wooden walls, and the cruel bludgeon is the bare minimum weapon you're going to need in order to bust open these wooden walls. This is also why you don't need to make armor. You're going to find armor everywhere you go anyways. So as you notice, I got one chest. You are going to see a trap right there. Cool fun thing about these traps is they usually have a radius of 1 tile, and you can get on that same tile as long as you hug the walls. So most of these traps are avoidable. And 1 second while I kill my dog. So we got some oak logs from our carpenter's bench, which is definitely good. Not a required necessity, but good. Up, and there's a bear. Hi, bear. Let's go ahead and put him where we don't need him anymore. So we're probably not going to come to this corner. Let's drop him off. He hits us once. We sneak away. Now we know where that bear is at, so just avoid that one corner. But at this point now we actually have him up and out of the way. We don't have to worry about killing him. Two shot. Again, pay attention to the arrows on the maps. They kind of show which direction the monsters will be facing, so you can usually sneak around the back side of them a lot easier. We've only used half the durability on one of our bows. Then again, we haven't busted down through the fences yet, and those are going to be getting to the good areas. The chest we're really looking for. This is also a good source of experience. Get used to killing everything. You do get experience for killing stuff. Trust me, it's good for you. I still don't recommend bears or bone crushers. It's just a lot of work. I could kill a bear with a bow if I really wanted to. Just got to have more patience and a little bit more food. And he saw me. No. Suppose I'll eat. He's looking at me, so oh no, he's no longer looking at me. Good. So nice to stare. Huh, no luck on meat. Good source of water, a little bit of health. Spiders, not such a big deal to deal with. Those are the big things you're going to run into inside these chieftains are spiders, enraged boars, about 3 bears, and 1 bone crusher. The bone crushers, you can kill them. I don't want to waste my materials on them. That's just me personally. There's one. He says hi. It's really intimidating, isn't he? He's kind of like right there in my face. This is why long range weapons are great. Weird. Just good. Here, try again. Get his attention. Run this way. Run, 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 run. Sneak. And now we have him up and out of the way. We don't have to deal with him anymore. Spider. 1 shot. 2 shot. Again, do kill them. It's not worth running into them later. It's really not that hard. As long as you attack, immediately drop back on your sneak, you can usually avoid getting swarmed. Sneak up just to the point where you can get right to their health bar. There's a bear that's right behind this fence. I'm going to show you a neat little trick to get around him. This is a leather working station. You can get things like empty water skins, leather, pelts. Pelts are pretty rare. They're up higher in the tiers, so it's good to collect those if you get them. Like I said, pelts. Nope, there's a spider. One shot. Drop off sneak. 2 shot. Nope, there's another spider. See, it's a good thing I'm killing these things, otherwise I could be getting swarmed pretty easily, huh? Now this is why we got the cruel bludgeon. Now, one thing I note about this house, this house actually has several rooms in it. It has 3 rooms. One of them, not really worth breaking into, but I'll go ahead and show you just because it does have weaker walls. You don't have to really worry too badly about what wall you break, but I break this one generally. Since the cruel bludgeon is the bare minimum in order to bust these walls, it's 5 damage per hit. And if you do the math, that's roughly about 18 hits or 18 durability off of your cruel bludgeon. It's devastating to durability, but it's probably one of the earliest points in the game you're ever going to start busting down these walls to get to the good stuff. If you're lucky inside Chieftains, one of these rooms may contain a weapon potent enough to bust through the stone walls later on. Now, what's fun about this one is it does have a carpenter's bench. It does have a masonry table, so you get things like whetstones, bricks, of course, maybe some more oak logs or some planks if we're oak planks if we're lucky. Or a little bit of both. As you can see, that's a rush wall right there. Once you're inside this first wall, you don't have to bust down in order to get into those other smaller rooms, namely because they are weaker walls on the inside. I probably could use my bow in order to tear these down, but again, I don't like using bow for walls. That's what the cruel bludgeon was brought here for. The reason I said you don't need to tear down this room is there's really nothing inside here of interest. There is a trap right there. Avoid it as long as you stay out of one range tile. There's also a trap right there, so you don't need to go through that area. Just bust this wall here, and bam, you get to the ultimate chest. Now, I have run into a glitch, and I just ran into it now, that sometimes there's an invisible wall, which sucks. And I'll go ahead and show you if this ever happens to you, and if it happens to me, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen to you. You're going to have to go ahead and take at least 1 hit, and this is the way I found to avoid it. Is just go ahead and run up here, take 1 hit from that, and bust this rush wall. Once you do that, ta-da, the invisible wall is gone. And you see the bear. Now I was going to show you a trick about the bears. Once you get the bear over here, just go ahead and ignore him, and we're going to go ahead and unlock this chest. This is the chest that we're hoping drops something that can bust down a stone wall. And this is something that does more than, I believe, 50 damage? So like a long sword, a staff, and we got some elm, which is great. This is a very rare wood you're going to need later on. But this is not going to help us bust down the stone wall. Luckily for us, when I did bring my Morning Star, so I can show you all the stone walls if you did luck out and get a weapon. Bare minimum, a cruel bludgeon will get you into the wood rooms. It will not get you into the stone rooms. So now that you notice, I went ahead and snuck out, and I left this bear over here in this little tiny corner over here, and I did this on purpose because there is a small chest back there, and small chests do have some valuable loot. That once we get back there, the small chest has a chance of dropping some really cool stuff. And now that we've moved the bear, we don't have to deal with him again when we try to go for the chest. Here we are, we're at the small palisade. Go ahead and bust it up. No big deal. Again, that bear is up and out of the way, so we don't have to worry about him. Can check the reliquary, but like I said, you got this small chest right here. And this is one of the maps. There are, again, like I said, there are about 3 or 4 different maps. I'm pretty sure there's at least 3, maybe a 4th. As I said, I'm not finding a lot of healing food in this place. Luckily, I did bring some. Probably should heal. And again, I've gotten rid of all the really bad stuff. Fine, I'll heal. I can go up there. There is a meat locker up there. Sometimes when you grab it, it'll right there in that corner is a little chest. It may have lamb, which I guess we'll need later on, but it's very, very rare. Most of the time that thing contains either just raw meat or just nothing. So I could go after it. I could waste a bunch of durability, but I'm going to ignore it for now. Again, like I said, you can get some herbs from these places. And this is why I come to the Chieftains. I come for the herbs. I come for the herbs and the magic dust and the elm and all the other great stuff. And those are things you're going to need later on. Herbs can be turned into oil. Oil is needed to make a lot of good things, including oak planks. This is our stone building that I was talking about. We'll go ahead and try to show you as many rooms as I can with as much durability as I have. Luckily, I did bring my Morning Star, but in this normal instance, you need something more powerful than a Cruel Bludgeon, and since we didn't technically get one on this run, you probably technically wouldn't lucked out as well. But if you bring enough bows with you and you go on several runs like I do, where you do 2 or 3 Chieftains with 1 Cruel Bludgeon, 2 Cruel Bludgeons, eventually you're going to get some iron weapons in one of those big chests that happen to be in the wooden buildings. And when you do, you can actually backtrack and go reopen up the stone walls. There's usually enough durability on one of those weapons to take on 2 of these buildings. The only threats you're going to have to worry about are, say, the sentinels, these blue guys that slam the ground and it hurts. As a stable, it usually contains hay, but guess what? I really don't need hay. This would be the wall you really want to worry about. If I am correct, right behind here is actually one of the traps is not too bad to deal with. It's the 4 wards of pain. And if that's correct, then I'm thinking there should be... We already moved the bone crusher, so there's a spider to deal with. Let's go ahead and deal with it real quick. We got a couple spiders, actually. Careful when you get around these things. They will block the view of trying to sneak up on a spider. So you got to move around them in order to get your snipe shot. Otherwise, it will block your view, and you might accidentally sneak too close, and then they'll spot you. Because while, you may not be able to get a shot on them, they can still see you. Alright, those guys are out of the way. This guy usually contains either clay bricks, iron, sometimes if you're lucky, maybe some steel, I believe I've seen in here. But you're not going to find too many rare items inside here. And there you are. There's your rarest item you're probably going to get out of there. And this is the level that I expected. This has a second wooden building that has a second chest that you might get some iron weapons out of. So let's go ahead and check that out. This building right here. This is if you ever see it like right here above